Welcome to Film Bluffs, a place for free-range, non-GMO, dog water opinions. So come on in, take a seat, and let's make fun of the kid with no internet.
And music's faded in. And welcome back to another stupid fucking episode of Film Bluffs. I'm your host, Jobe, and joined with me in marriage, as always, is my wife.
Hi, I'm Trace. I guess I'm the wife now.
I'm Marshall, and we have a special guest with us today.
Jobe.
Today.
Let's go, my name's Joe.
I'm just gonna shut up. I don't want to be here.
He's got his catchphrase ready and everything.
That's me.
I'm Joe.
I got two different size hands. One's big, one's tiny.
This one's gonna be a banger.
Mm-hmm.
We watched Tron Legacy this week. Fantastic Disney movie. It was a Trace pitch.
Yes, it was.
I watched this in theaters when it came out, and I was like,
I did
this is sick. And then I went and watched the original Tron and said, this is not as sick as Tron Legacy. I'm just never going to watch that again.
Yeah.
But Tron Legacy's good. Tron Legacy's a fun time. It's entertaining. You have a problem with that, Joe?
No, I just, I was really hoping you'd crack open a thesaurus between now.
Find out what else is fun,
What other
entertaining,
words?
joyous.
So anyway, brief thoughts on it. I mean, let's just get this one out of the way. The soundtrack is the best part of the movie.
Kick ass.
Yeah.
Daft
Punk
Punk, you crazy French bastards, you've done it again.
They really popped off.
I really
It's
don't think
just-
there's much bad to say about either the soundtrack or the visuals. I think
Oh, the
those are the
visuals
two
are
strong
so
points
good.
of the movie. You can talk your own piece later. But I think those are the two strong things, and that's what I come back to this movie for. I've watched it a couple times over the years. I don't think I watched it when it came out, but it's always one that I'm willing to watch. It's never I can pass on this one.
Tron Legacy definitely has got some style to it. The plot, nothing for I watched it and I was like, man, this is such a good movie. A lot of stuff happens, and you watch it and you're like, not a lot really happens. Overall, there's just some really weak points, and Jeff Bridges is just acting like a hippie.
Hell yeah.
And I was telling Madison this. I'm like, yeah, you watch this and you realize, yeah, Jeff Bridges is just playing the Big Lebowski, not like playing, Mr. Flynn or whatever. He's just a hippie in this one, but it's still fun.
I think there's a little bit of validity to think of a guy who gets trapped in his own video game world and then lives his adult life there, only supported by things he created. I think you would act a bit childlike, and that's kind of how he comes off.
And that's why we depict Jesus as a baby.
Yeah.
You see, Trace, that's Joe meeting the movie at its level.
Why are you calling me out?
Because you don't make the movie
dogging on
at
this
its level.
movie.
And here's
whole
the thing,
week.
I don't need to. I like this movie. It's a fun
This
movie.
This whole week, Trace has been messaging me saying I just thought of another thing I dislike about this movie. I can't wait to tear into it.
Not
on
this
Friday.
movie. It's always Power Rangers. I always come back to Joe going, hey, another reason I don't like Power Rangers? Their stupid faces. I know, this movie is different. It's fun. It's pleasurable. It's entertaining. It's enjoyable. It's amusing. It's exciting. It gives
Stop
me
it.
gratification, jollification.
Stop it.
It's making merry.
For God's sakes, just give us.
It gives me
plot
respite.
synopsis.
Gives you
Alright,
respite.
yeah, respite. Alright, so we pick
Respite.
up a few years after Tron Prime, the first Tron. And Kevin Flynn, the creator of The Grid, has a little boy named Sam Flynn, and his mother's dead. So he's off hanging out with his grandparents while Kevin Flynn, his dad, goes and works at his business, which becomes a big enterprise at some point in his life. But he also has this really cool arcade that, good God, I would love to own. It looks kick-ass. So he's telling him the story about The Grid and Tron and how fucking cool it is. And he's like, hey, kid, I'm going to take you there. We're going to go together someday. And he's like, okay, Dad, I can't wait. And so he leaves on his really cool motorcycle. I think it's a Ducati. And he leaves. And then he never returns. Kevin Flynn goes missing for eons. Maybe even 20 years. I don't know. I don't know the time frame of this. So we cut back, and they're all doing news articles about how this great man who pioneered the age of technology and video gaming is gone. And they're like, and we miss him a lot. Nobody probably misses him more than his orphaned son, Sam. And Sam's just sitting at the window going, my dad's gonna come home soon. I just know it. And then his grandma's like, hey, kid, maybe you should eat something. I hate you! And then he gets on his bike as a parallel to his father, who rides a motorized bike. And he starts driving off, and then we cut to him. He is breaking into his old father's company to get this new OS that they're breaking out, and they're trying to charge out the ass because capital America is fucking stupid. They want to make money, and they're trying to... They're going after you and your money, and they're trying to make you suffer. And Sam, who is fighting for you, the users, goes, nah, my dad wanted this shit to be free, I want it to be free, and I hold all the stocks. I technically own the business. So he goes, he uploads it for free, everybody's getting all this shit. Some weird dude is like, don't worry, it's under control, boss guy who's mad right now. Tell them it was all part of the plan. And then a security guard is chasing Sam. He goes up to the top of Encom building, and he jumps off. And he's like, hey, you know who I am? And he's like, no. Good. And then he falls back and he parachutes off the building. It's kick-ass. It's a lot like Robert Pattinson's Batman, except he doesn't fly straight first to do an overhang or a bypass. So he does all this shit. He gets arrested after a while. He gets bailed out. He goes home. I don't remember what's the guy's name who was friends with Kevin? Alan. So yeah, Alan Bradley, he's like, hey, you know how I've been like a surrogate father to you? And he's like, yeah, thanks, bye. He's like, hey, your dad's pager paged me. Go to the arcade. He really wants you there. Maybe he'll be working. And he's like, no, that's fucking stupid. I'm not going. So he goes. And he has this quarter that his dad flipped him as he was leaving that fateful day. And he's like, I guess I'll go play Tron. And he goes to go play the fucking sick-ass light cycle game. God, I wish I had that machine. He puts the coin in, it falls, he sees a little ridge, and he's like, huh, well, that's interesting. So he pulls back the machine. There's a lab in there with a really cool laser, and he does some hacking. He's obviously a pro at this because his dad was, and he's like,
he literally clicks up and left the man.
So he hacks into the system brilliantly, and he gets shot by a laser. He gets launched into the grid. He doesn't know what the fuck is happening. He's just there, and some people with these sick-ass costumes come by and go, yeah, you're coming with us. He's like, big mistake. I'm not supposed to be here. And then as they're flying around, he's like, oh, shit. I'm on the grid. Dad did it. He was telling the truth. Of course, he's gone now, but he was telling the truth. And then they send him to games because they like to have people fight gladiatorial style for their own entertainment. And he's fighting a bunch of people, and then he's all like, hey, I'm not a guy. I'm not one of you. I'm a regular guy. And then the Rizzler jumps in, and he's like, I'm gonna fight you now. And then he smacks him with his cool light disc, and he starts bleeding. And he's like, a user. And then he goes, hey, user. And then we get another guy going, shit. Okay, bring him on up. So we meet Clue, who looks exactly like his dad when he left. A young Jeff Bridges, if you will. So we go through all this, and he's like, hey, we can go home now. It's been 20 years, but for some reason you haven't aged. So let's just go home. And he's like, yeah, let's. And then they talk a little bit, and he's like, wait a second. You're not my dad, are you? And he's like, a fucking genius. Good job, bucko. So he's like, all right, fine. What'd you do to my dad? And he's like, nothing. What'd you do to my dad? Nothing. I'll fight you for it. Yeah, okay. So they go and they do some light cycles. It's kick-ass. Sam's like, I can ride motorcycles. This is the best. So he teams up with the other blue team, and they start killing each other. And then suddenly, boom, a sick-ass ATV, like, big tank four-wheeler thing comes up, and it's also a light cycle, but it's big. Cora hops out and is like, hey, come with me if you want to live. And he's like, Yeah, okay. So he cops in. She takes off her helmet. She's a pretty girl, and he's like, oh, okay. So she shows up to Kevin Flynn's house on the outskirts of the grid, where nobody else could go because for some reason their light cycles can't handle the terrain. They show up there, and he's like, hey, we have a visitor. And he's like, ha ha ha, good one. Nobody visits us. I'm an old hermit, and everybody hates me now. And she's like, no, for real. Look at him. And he's like, ah, fuck, Sam? That's crazy. And he's like, yeah, I got your page. And he's like, I'm depressed now. All right, well, get ready for dinner, wash up. And then they start talking. We find out Clue's the one who sent him the page that he could open the portal so that Clue could get all of his people out so that they could invade the real world because he wants the real world now. And we get to that point. He's like, hey, Dad, let's just go. And he's like, no. My disc is too valuable. I can't do it. I can't give him my identity disc. It'll fuck up everything. He's like, okay, fine. I'll go outside and I'll deactivate Clue from the outside. So he goes to meet this guy Zeus, who can get him to the portal via Cora's instruction. And Cora goes, hey, I sent him to Zeus. And he's like, all right, well, we're leaving. So they leave to go chase after him. They find him in the big cool tower that Zeus lives in, and Zeus has since betrayed him because he wants control of the city. So all the programs that work for Clue start attacking, and it's great. It's a cool fight sequence. Cora shows up. She gets her arm lobbed off. They get on a cool train. They start heading towards the portal. There's a big facility here where they are taking the really cool programs and innocent ones and turning them into bad guys. So they're trying to stop this, but they're like, let's just get to the portal. So they get to the portal. After some fun, wacky nonsense where Cora's like, all right, I'm going to be a hostage. You guys get to the portal. She becomes a hostage. They start going to the portal, and he's like, no, we can't. We have to go back for her. So they go back for her. There's a whole hullabaloo about it. They fight. They're going after it. They get out of there. They get back onto the train. They start heading. They get on this really cool jet, this light jet, and they're like, brrr, and they're flying to the portal. But all of the Clue bad guys get on these little tiny jets, and they're fighting after him, firing him. He's firing with a tank gun at the back of him, firing. It's cool. It kicks ass. They got the little light cycle lines behind him so that they can kill people. Eventually, Rinsler goes, hey, I'm Tron now. I'm Tron again. I'm the cool guy. I fight for the users. And he fucking barrels into Clue. They wreck. They're falling. They're going all the way back to the portal. Clue beats the shit out of Tron midair and takes the other light jet and he flies off. They're like, hey, we're at the portal. Ah, shit, Clue's here. Well, this puts a damper on our plans. He goes up and he beats the shit out of Kevin Flynn because he's an old man. And then Sam's like, hey, that's my dad, stop it. And he walks up and he gets his ass kicked. And then Cora's like, oh, I'll go over there. She goes over there. He takes Kevin Flynn's disc, the God disc, where they're like, fuck, if he has this, he wins. But here's the thing. He swapped discs with Cora. Cora now has dad disc. And he's like, hey, go home, son. Take her with you. I'll be fine. And he starts taking the bridge apart, and it's all cool. And then he's like, all right, fine. So he's going over. He's like, Dad, no, I don't want to leave. And Clue jumps across the bridge. He's trying to get him, but Dad's like, no. Hugs, and he pulls Clue into him. It becomes this big event thing where he blows up right as they're bringing themselves back to the real world, where he can then show Cora the sunrise for the first time and tell Alan he's getting the company back. Best movie ever made.
A lot happened.
Jobe, you're gonna listen to my whole long synopsis there and tell me that wasn't cool. Synopsis, synonyms, who knows?
You ever heard of Kingdom Hearts Remind?
Kingdom Hearts just isn't even that good.
That's my Kingdom Hearts Reborn.
Here's the thing. Tron's fun.
Yeah,
it's
When he
enjoyable.
I think they could have had better
fight.
packaging if they just want those cool scenes of like the light cycles, laser discs,
yes.
like
I
the
love that
action
shit.
scenes are great.
Yes,
it's
they
just
are. I love them.
how they paced it to get between them.
That's
You'd almost
true.
just go, come on, get back to it.
Also,
Show me the
when they're
fun shit again.
When they're doing fight scenes, it's not shot very well, I don't think. Like when in the club when they're all fighting, there's a lot of cut to cut too.
Well, okay, but Jobe, here I'm gonna counter that real quick.
Wait.
Okay.
It's fun though.
No, it is. That's not my counterpoint. My counterpoint is they have to do that. They didn't actually go in the computer. They didn't really go to the grid. They had to fake it.
Let me.
That's called movie
ask
magic,
you this,
Joe.
though.
Okay. No, the moon landing also didn't happen.
I fucking knew it. No, what I'm gonna ask is,
Yeah.
so when they're having dinner,
Yeah.
in like the first big, we're gonna take 30 minutes to exposit scene,
Yeah.
they have a whole roasted hog.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did that come from?
He programmed it in.
He's God in that
A
world.
hog?
Yeah, remember
Yeah.
how he can turn off the lights just by stepping on the ground,
Different. That's an actual function.
or how he can just like put a
Yeah,
screen
it's
on the
world.
he can put a screen on the ground and then create a mirror image of himself just by touching
So,
things. It's so cool.
Joe, did you like miss the whole movie where they talked about how he was God and how his disc was
I
God?
didn't
Like,
need to eat
I'm
all
just
of
confused
it.
on that part.
He's still
Well,
Because he's a user.
he still
No,
bleeds.
but he's data. He's data in a machine.
No,
But he bleeds.
that's not actually
He's a
strictly
user.
true. They actually are
No.
transferring their actual flesh and blood bodies into the world. That's what's so cool about it. He found a way
Okay,
to
so-
turn meat into
got it.
ones and
That's
twos,
why-
but it's still meat.
So did he upload a fucking hog then?
Okay.
Dude, he just programmed when he said beep boop.
No, but
hog.
here's the fun thing. He can look at his own data and go, okay, well, why
So
are
he
you...
can eat
what?
data then.
No, do you want to let me finish? You want to let me finish?
No.
You asking me a question? You want to give me an answer? Okay. Stop
No, I'm gonna make you edge for hours, boy.
I bet you would. Okay, so he can look at his own data, right, and be like, all right, so that's what flesh and blood looks like in code. I'm gonna just do that shit. Boom. He's got meat.
That still doesn't.
He knows what the code's supposed to look like to make it into to real people.
So he's eating code.
No.
He probably has to be. But
But it's better than Chope's raw.
I mean, look, I'm confused as to why you have a problem with this, but you don't have a problem with them eating Energon in Transformers 1.
That just makes fucking sense. They're robots. They don't eat normal food. They
Well,
eat-
according to
planet
you, he
Gas.
is too. And if we're going to a ground level, aren't we all data?
No. Let me tell you something.
I bet you will.
There's a difference between a physical robot that exists in the world and fucking data that exists in the computer.
Counterpoint:
Yeah.
the Transformers don't actually exist. That's also a fucking movie.
You're so full of shit. That was a documentary.
Cybertron's right next to Pluto.
No, I do have to agree with Joe. Like, on the action scenes, they're sick, and
Yeah.
then you have, like, 20-30 minutes of them just, like, chilling on a train, talking about Wi-Fi and
Yeah.
But that's
on the
kind
sky
of
or some
funny though.
shit like
Like the
that.
what? Like
And you're just like, what's
you,
going
you
on,
watching
man?
the
What are we doing?
Wi-Fi and you were just there like, oh.
no, like I agree. We get a lot of exposition. We probably
Why? No, I
don't
just
need.
said I didn't enjoy that. I thought it was boring.
No. I'm
Trace.
yeah. Leave me alone. What I'm saying is
Looking on Trace.
specifically the Wi-Fi part was pretty funny because he was like, "Yeah, we got Wi-Fi now," and he's like, "Wi-Fi? What's Wi-Fi?" And he's like, "Oh, it's wireless interlinking," and he's like, "To like electric devices? Yeah, huh? Thought of that in '84." And I'm like, we could have. Look at the future we could have had if Kevin Flynn hadn't gone missing. We would be
Just-
riding around in
Just annoying.
hovermobiles.
He's like trying to take fucking credit for thinking, wouldn't it be neat if my printer could link to my computer
Yeah.
with a cable?
He would have done it. He just didn't. He was going to do it. He was gonna do it. He just didn't have time.
Anyway, Joe, I'm so sorry for these two. They're being rude.
You're right,
What did you
Job,
think?
you asshole.
I'd say like the plot. I think the worst part about it is obviously it's like a religious allegory. God creates
That's true.
a world. The people inhabit the world. People intend to do something about what they think God's will is. It goes against God's will. There is some interest in that idea of if God was there and physically present to reinforce his will, and that's kind of what it's trying to get at, but it's so heavy-handed with, like, what did he say? I created you in my image.
Yeah, just like God.
Yeah, we got that one
I
guy.
created. Whoa.
Nope.
But
Flew right
So,
over my head,
I don't know.
to be honest.
To be fair,
That makes sense.
You're like
rewatch
barely
is in
2
store for
inches
you.
above Trace's dad.
I would be. Oh, no. If anybody though, I think I would be okay with Kevin Bridges being God. He kind of seems.
Kevin Bridges.
I put them together. It's Jeff Bridges who plays Kevin Flynn. Next up, Jeff Flynn.
Sure is.
Some of it's interesting about how he intended for the world to be perfect, and then it gets into a little bit of should people have free will.
Yeah.
His original vision was no, everything should be perfectly ordered, and that's what Clue's ideals are. But then by the end of it, he's like, Clue, I'm sorry, I messed up. This one's on me. You gotta die for it now. So
It's
I
true.
know.
There's
Poor
interesting
Clue was just like,
beginning.
I did everything you wanted. And then Kevin is like, my bad, dude. I know, I fucked
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
My
you
bad."
did, and you're wrong for that.
I don't know. I think there's like, so they show the betrayal scene. He's
Yeah.
like, I was
Yeah.
supposed to create the perfect world, and you're in the way. But it feels like we're missing a scene where we actually see Flynn saying, "Hey, dog, stop doing this."
Yeah, I feel like
it feels like it comes out of nowhere.
It seems like there should be
Oh,
a deleted scene or something where he's like the fuck. What are the ISOs? Like
Some people.
Yeah. So like the ISOs are these these brand new people. Like they created them themselves or something, and they showed up on the grid. And he's like,
we're a byproduct of the world that was created.
So he's like, these people, these are the these are the key. This is the key to integrating our world and the grid. This is perfect. And Clue sees them as an imperfection. I feel like we're missing a deleted scene where he's kind of like, hey, Flynn, they're not right for us. They're different. We need to get away from them. And he's like, no. They're the future. They're the future. And then he's like, I don't agree. And Kevin's like, we'll talk about this later. I gotta go do some stuff with Tron. And he's like, you're
Me and
wrong,
Tron
Kevin
ride
Flynn.
motorcycles.
Yeah, they're like,
Have fun.
and it
For how
Clue's just
buddy
stewing.
they were like 5 minutes before that. They're
Yeah.
like patting each other on the back like, we did it. And then
Look what we
it's like
accomplished.
Transformers. There's like one moment and it snaps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's
So
kinda
that-
like being trained.
Yeah, we're friends one
All the
moment, but I
Tron
will
scenes are
fucking
like-
kill you.
So, Marshall, what
Yeah.
did you think of CGI Jeff Bridges?
Ooh.
I don't like CGI.
It's
Jeff
not
Bridges.
good.
This
I'll
is
get-
before they made it
sorry.
like some. This is before they made it look like somewhat good. Like when you see it like in the Star Wars Rogue One, I think when they first Disney first debuted.
Oh, when
theirs,
they
and it's like,
de-aged.
all right, it's passable. Where they de-aged the people. This one is kind of like, yee.
Yeah,
You know?
I'll
He's too smooth.
I'll give you
too
that.
smooth.
Kevin, he does not look good as young Jeff Bridges.
It's funny, the first scene where they do it, which is the opening scene with
Mhm.
him and Boy, I was like,
Boy.
alright, they're obviously digitally de-aging him, but they're playing it smart. They're keeping him like shrouded in darkness,
Yeah, right.
It's like this.
far away behind. And then, then he does
Sam, I want you to understand that I do love you.
By the way,
Yeah, that it is. It doesn't look good.
Nah, that part doesn't look good. But like the rest of the movie, it looks great.
Yeah, they do so well
Fantastic.
with the CGI in pretty much every other aspect of the film.
Yeah.
Nothing else is so blatantly bad.
I think
Yeah,
it
no.
helps that
agree.
a lot of this movie is in darkness, save for the neon lights everywhere.
And it just looks so cool.
It does.
Yeah.
Look, well, I as I was watching
What?
it, I was thinking to myself, it's like this movie's at its best when it's just a Daft Punk music video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kicks ass. What about when Tron goes, I fight for the user,
Ugh.
and he goes and fights for the user?
Ugh.
It's so
So,
good every
like,
time.
So good.
It's cool, right? But
I love
why?
Because he fights for the users.
Because
There was
it's
no
Fights for the
moment.
a weird,
user.
Well-
weird moment where Tron is flying over them in slow motion. Jeff Bridges looks up in normal speed and goes, Tron, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Tron,
Like,
look
it'd
what
make
you've
more sense
become.
if he like did his like godlike power and he's like Tron reset to natural programming.
Factory
But no.
reset. Well, my theory on that is since he got like corrupted, he has never been next to Kevin. He hasn't been like within a spitting distance of Flynn. So I think
wearing a
seeing him is like, oh fuck. It's like that little. It's like when the guy gets amnesia and he sees that one thing that triggers his memories again, and he's like, I remember everything. That's when he looks at Flynn and goes, fuck, I fight for the users and my
remember
dad's gonna be
the
so
world we were
fucking
fighting.
mad. Alan's gonna be pissed. Oh god, I hope Alan's still alive.
I hate how Tron gets his shit rocked immediately after when he's falling.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
It's like, why the fuck is Clue so strong?
Well, that's
He's also God.
well, that's why I think there's the difference in how they're
The
coded.
Archangel Gabriel.
But there's a difference in how they're coded because I think when
isn't
Tron
Clue like the allegory? With the religious allegory, isn't Clue
Lucifer.
Jesus?
in a way, yeah. But like Tron,
No,
I
yes,
think
Jesus. Are you fucking kidding me?
no, because Sam doesn't know how to do shit.
He's
So-
literally the son of God.
And
In
No,
this
but Clue was made in God's image.
Exactly.
That's also
Clue
Man,
is
okay.
man.
Clue is the
Sam's
spirit.
man. Sam's dude.
Clue is the Holy Spirit.
We're talking allegorical.
Allegorically. All right, but I think the difference is Alan is the one who originally created Tron in Tron, and fuck you. And he, I think, actually like did a little like in the real world, like was doing a little coding on the keyboard, where he's kind of limited in how he can code. With Flynn creating him as like a mirror self in the in the grid, he, I think, is able to be much more integral with like how he's coding it and how he wants it to be. And even he states later on, as I was trying to fight back, Clue was getting more powerful. And it kind of alludes to it's because he's using all this stuff against him to make the programs think that the users are evil. But I think it's also very literal of him, like he's somehow finding out a way to like integrate more power into his program.
Yeah,
I think he's absorbing things. Yeah. Back then they were using Flash.
I guess. I don't know, man. I'm not a computer guy.
But I do agree that I think just because I'm a huge Tron stan, that I feel like Tron should have fucking rocked his shit. There's no doubt in my mind. Like Clue comes in, grabs the little bar they're gonna use to create the little jet cycle, and then Clue just kind of like kicks him a little bit, and Tron's like, "All right, fine, fuck this."
I know. I was really hoping, like, at the first time I watched it, like, Tron was gonna show up at the end and be like, "Aha, remember me, bitch," and then do like
that would have
flip.
been better if he showed up at the bridge and just like started beating the shit out of Clue while they escaped. That would have been pretty cool.
And I don't like Cora's little deal where she just like jumps off the side and goes around. Because like as you described, in the
it's
summary,
fun.
she just leaves
Yeah, it's
one
like
side.
that-
No,
and
it's
she gets
fun.
to the other.
Sword.
No, it's really fun. So she shoots a grappling. I think. All right, we're missing what happened here, Marshall. I think so.
Okay.
Marshall's forgetting. So there's this bridge. Yeah, thank you. So there's a bridge right there. She shoots. I can't really point where Jobe's at. So give me a second. I have a straw. I can't pull out the straw. All right. So here's the screwdriver, right? So she's like right here. She jumps up, shoots a grappling hook right here, and just goes whoop, and then ends up on the other side.
And this is what Clue does.
Why?
What?
Yeah, he's like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then he leaps across like a 40-foot gap.
Here's my cool fucking lightsaber. And it's like,
It's not a lightsaber, it's a light baton. Idiot. It looks like they're gonna use like light swords in the third Tron movie though. Because there's a picture of somebody holding like a fucking like claymore with lights on it.
I'm just like, did he find a recipe online for roast hog and just upload that? into
Yes, that's where I think it. I don't think he's actually uploaded to the internet. I think the grid is on its own server that's isolated.
Well, yeah, if
Yeah.
it was uploaded to the internet.
But that being said, it's his work computer, so I also assume he probably had a copy of all of his home recipes there, just in case like his server at home where his mom lives got corrupted. Then he still has all of his mom's homemade recipes that she's passed down to the ages. So that's probably where he got it.
One of my favorite side characters is that like little henchman that he had running around.
Oh god,
Clue's
the
little
bald bitch.
He's
He's just sitting there, just like
users, but
total
not.
suck up the whole time.
I hate him.
A
I think
total
his
suck up the
name's
whole
Jarvis.
It's
Sure,
kind of like
man.
Marshall
It
and
is.
I's relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jobe just suckles on my little man. boobs.
Marshall's Clue, I'm Flynn, and no, I'm Sam, fuck it. And then Jobe is Jarvis, where he's like, no, fuck the users. And then Sam comes
No.
in, kicks the shit out of everybody, and he's like, long live
Jobe
the
is-
users! Whoop, whoop.
Why did Sam
Anybody.
get so good at
Jobe is
I
anybody.
don't know.
He's Marv.
He probably programmed it into himself.
Which one?
It's what
The
you
dog?
learn in
You're giving me the
school.
fucking dog?
That's pretty good.
He house that burger.
Did you see how fast he hoes that burger? Yeah.
Is that
It
the
was
only
pretty
reason?
good.
Is my burger housing ability?
Well, but traditionally,
Yeah.
Jobe doesn't really eat burgers. He gets a really spicy one, takes one bite out of it, and then leaves it.
You're so full of shit, dog. It happened
You're the dog.
once.
Yeah, but it's still funny.
It's so funny.
My thing is with the whole let's play with Sam being Jesus, the Son of God.
Let's pause on that.
All right, fine.
I could have done with less at the
Wait,
beginning.
I was
of him,
actually
just,
thinking, you know,
with less at the
Joe,
beginning.
you go down, Joe.
I didn't need that whole deal of like he infiltrates his own building and then jumps off of it. You know, like it was too long for me. honestly.
That's cool.
That
feel like
scene
he
is
did-
too long for you
it's like
I'm
maybe
too long.
it's like 5 minutes.
compared to all the other exposition scenes. The one scene that has action while there's exposition, they're actually
it's really
doing
cool.
a little bit of
Those ones are
showing,
also
not
too
telling.
long. I'm just saying, get me into Tron as fast as possible.
Tron is a
Fuck it
program. It's not the
around.
place.
you don't understand, Marshall.
You know what I mean?
Tron was
It's
there
the
the whole
grid.
time, and it's not until the end of the movie that they fully become Tron.
You know what? I'm gonna cut all this out, and then I'm just gonna completely ignore it.
I'm gonna cut this whole episode. This episode is gonna be Marshall talking about Tron. It's gonna be Marshall playing GTA 5 Gridlock or whatever the fucking light cycle game is.
Did y'all ever play Battle for the Grid on the Nintendo Wii?
I played
I don't know.
light cycles on my
Oh,
like
God, I
touch
love light-
phone back in the day.
I've played the Tron arcade game.
I
at
love the
bar
Tron
games.
arcade game. It's
actually
so
pretty good.
fun.
Yeah. There's like the 4 weird modes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always
And there's
think
a
the tank
bi-
one is ass.
There's a real big one. I don't know if they make them anymore. If you can even find them, they're like a rare find. It's like you play with like the discs and you like throw them, and it's like this big long arcade game. It
that's
looks
crazy.
so cool. But I did play. What was the
Did
Tron?
y'all watch the Tron TV show?
No, I didn't like the art style.
Yeah, you didn't meet it at its level.
That's okay. Look, if there's an animated show and the
off.
characters don't look cute or appealing to me, I'm not gonna watch it.
That's why he watches.
Trace, they're kids. Why do you want?
No, they're not.
Cute. I think in Tron Uprising they.
I don't know.
I'll get back to you with my
right.
sources.
What was the Tron video game?
Battle for the Grid.
Is it Battle for the Grid?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that the one where like
At
you're
least
just like
one of them.
you're like just the random program and you end up saving Cora? And then in this
Yeah.
movie, Cora's like, "Oh, a really nice program saved me," and you're like, "I did that. That's me. I saved her. I played that game."
You play as one of the ISO.
Oh yeah, it was a fun game. I
hey,
like that. They should have
so
put
Trick,
light
you're-
cycles in it though.
There was light cycles in it.
Not like I want like a light cycle mode though. Like I want where you can just like you're you know, like they have it in Grand Theft Auto, but I want that in that one.
Anyway, Trace, you were talking about the Jesus allegory.
Let's talk about that after our break.
All right,
I do actually grab
and
one.
we're back.
This movie was oddly sexy, right?
Actually, so
I think that's the point.
the game I was talking about actually is Tron Evolution.
That's the one that was on like the Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on PS3 and 360, but still very fun.
So I want to put a pin in what Marshall just said though, because
Okay.
I do want to talk about that a little bit.
I didn't hear what he said.
Did it?
Huh?
I said it was oddly sexy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think there's anything odd about it.
But they were computer like they saw the first one and said, "Yeah, no, we need to sex this up a
Marshall.
little bit."
Let
Counterpoint.
Trace talk about his fucking Jesus allegory.
I will,
Oh,
and I will in a second. It's not any
God
different.
damn it. I offended you.
Some people,
You
but Marshall brought this up.
Goddamn Jesus
So
allegory.
Marshall, but the thing there is, some people are into hentai, and that's not that different. Those are also computer programs. So, Jesus. Let's talk about that for a minute. My thing is, so Flynn's big vision in this whole
Which
thing,
one?
The original Flynn, Kevin Flynn, his vision with the grid before he gets sucked in and can't leave is Jobe, stop looking like that. I don't like it. He looked like a CGI Kevin Flynn. His whole vision is, I want to bring people to the grid. I think the grid is our future. That's where we need to be. How many of the users are going to have, like, obviously he's going to probably have, like, admin access, but how much power are users going to have over programs?
You can go kiss a program, but you can't
Right.
I think it would
modify
be
it.
pretty
You have to
much
have
exactly
administrative
as-
permissions to.
That's what I'm...
change
Cause-
it.
Experience it.
Right, because, like, we have no indication that, like, Sam can do anything like that in this. So it seems like there is the one admin kind of thing that's going on, but it just makes me think, like, okay, but Sam just doesn't learn it. Maybe there is a way that, like, users can learn. Hell, programs could probably learn how to hack into the code. They just don't do it. Maybe it's, like, firewalled out the ass, I don't know. But I think eventually Sam could probably be like his dad and go, I got administrator access now, I'll just fucking do this shit. So, like, if
Yeah,
you ever
like, it's
integrated
like,
it
you know,
fully...
when you get like access to like a Word document, you're like on view only, or you can like comment, or you can be like
Fair.
editor, right? Kevin Flynn is like editor; he can do everything.
You know
But
what?
Everyone else is either view or comment. But at some point, if they learn enough, they can just move themselves to the next level without
Marshall?
needing permission. But they need like a lot of learning to get to the next level.
Marshall, I'm going to
I think-
give you a compliment. That was a good analogy.
What I'll say is, it depends on
Thanks.
which point in time you're talking about Kevin Flynn's vision for the world.
True.
Originally, his point was, you can inhabit the grid, and it'll just be the perfect world for you to live in.
That's true.
You
That's
do
fair.
not get any access.
Yeah, you just...
By
you-
the end of it, he's...
Yeah, then I think he's understanding. But yeah, the original one is, you live here and you live by Dad's rules because I made
Yeah.
this world and it's my house now.
In that one, the programs would probably just be the equivalent of servants.
Yeah, and that's kind of fucked.
Yeah, there's a definitely weird hierarchy that he's
Like-
put in place.
Like,
I-
they don't
I
have...
think that's part of his growth, though.
That's
as a
true.
character.
I think that's fine.
So, something that was like I'm thinking about, right? Is
Yeah,
at the beginning of this, Jeff Bridges comes in, he goes the grid, yada yada yada, and he's
Digital
trying to
frontier.
say our digital frontier. He's trying to imagine what
The digital
data
frontier.
looks like in a computer,
Plus, there's
right?
an
And so
information how it moves
we have
around
the
the computer.
programs. Yeah. He has programs which look like people, right? So is each program that we see, is that like a different program in the computer? Like one of them's like Discord, the other one's like Google Chrome,
That's his
or they're
abstraction
just
of
like
it, yeah.
miscellaneous programs
I
just
th-
run in the
I think it
background.
varies.
I mean, open your task manager right now and tell me how much shit's just running in the
Yeah,
background.
I do think
Oh,
it
I
varies.
don't
Like
even
some
open
of
it
them
up.
have higher priorities than others, and I don't think that, like, that's why they have like hierarchy in the grid. They have like lieutenants and shit, and I would think that's, you know, they're just taking more processing power.
So you could theoretically like accidentally shoot like Google Chrome,
Yeah.
and then everything crashes. You can't open the internet ever again.
If it
I
was
mean, you
if
could just
the,
take a different browser.
that's true. If the grid was hooked up to
Yeah,
the
Firefox
internet, yes.
curled up in the corner, just like, hey,
So
hey.
How's it going?
why?
Go
I
on.
can't tell if Marshall's
Say it. We're waiting for
I'm
you.
sorry, I was just confused. I couldn't tell if you were frozen or holding still.
I was waiting, man.
So we see Cora eat some of the hog, but she is just a program.
Yeah, and
She's not. She's different.
She's not.
She is.
That's
She's
the
an
point of
ISO.
her.
she's
character.
evolved.
Okay, so
She's like
Did you just miss this movie? Like, what's the deal, dog?
Did you fall
Data?
asleep during this too?
Now-
We're all data. Everyone,
data.
everyone's
It's like-
data.
I'm not data.
Yes, you are. Empirically, you are data.
So,
Empirically,
Cora's like the
Yeah.
first
Empirically, you can
fish
suck
to
my
grow
ass.
I bet I could.
compared to the programs who are fish. You get that?
So, this movie features quite a few women running bodysuit. And
Is
I
this
know
the
came
sexy
out
part you wanted to talk
2010,
about with Marshall?
So I just 11-year-old me seeing this movie for the first time. I went, I like this character, and I'm
not sure
entirely
why.
why. Yeah.
Is it because of the ass and boobs? I'll learn later.
I was like, I'm laying in bed, and I was like, I can't stop thinking about ass and boobs. What does it mean?
That scene where they're like derobing Sam and then like putting on new clothes, it just felt weird to watch. Like I shouldn't be watching this.
Like,
it felt unnecessary.
I'm sitting in the theaters as a young kid, and I'm like, my parents are right here. You know, like what the fuck's going on with this?
Marshall.
Yeah, Job.
If you had to cut one scene, which would you cut? The scene where Sam breaks into his own power, or the scene where Sam is non-consensually derobed?
The second.
That one, the second.
The latter. Because it's weird. It feels like they don't want to quite get into the intimacy of pulling down his pants, so they laser cut his pants, but then they just take his jacket off.
No, they cut the sleeves off.
They cut the sleeves off.
Oh, but still, like they start taking, like they start peeling clothes off of him after lasering his pants. Like, why not just laser all of it?
Rogue.
Do we ever get
I need pants, guys.
a classification on when the guard picks them to be like refixed or whatever versus the games?
I think
just
the rectifier or games.
Yeah, because the ones that are in games are typical. It's weird with Sam because it seems like when he was picking games, it was all the ones that looked like the programs were slightly corrupted. Like one of the guys he picks is like kind of like digitally breaking down, and those are the ones that are not going to make it to the new world. He's like, ew, that's disgusting. What a freak. Games.
Rectifier.
So like,
maybe he chose Sam because he didn't have an identity disc. So
it could be that he's not registering as what their ideal program system would look like.
Yeah, they looked at him a couple times, and he's just an unknown.
Oh, this looks
put him in the games.
Fleshy. I don't like it. Games.
Going back to women in bodysuits.
Perfect.
Sometimes in these big exposition scenes, did you notice how like it's Jeff Bridges and Garrett talking it out, chatting up, having that dad and son moment, and then they're like, "Here's Olivia Wilde on a sofa."
Yeah.
Just like.
That's the only thing keeping my interest.
Oh, hey, what's up?
And it would just, I noticed it kept happening throughout the movie later when they're talking to Zeus. It's the Gem character.
Yep.
That they're just like, what's she up to right now?
Yeah, what's her reaction? It's usually nothing.
It's just like,
Not even like part of the conversation like an active listener. It's just they're existing. Let's show that.
Speaking of reactions,
Yeah.
I do not like Sam's performance in this one. I don't know. It's just like
Not strong.
in this one, like in comparison to
don't
the
wanna
other
be, like,
Tron movies
rude.
he's in.
I don't want to be rude and say, "Oh, this actor, he can't fucking act."
I don't know him in
Okay?
anything else, honestly. You could say that he's a bad actor.
He's
I
in
wouldn't.
Oh, he's not in anything
Tulsa
else.
King.
Oh, that's right. We did talk
Anyways,
about that.
I kind of agree. It felt like a lot of things just seemed forced from Sam.
He was also in Troy.
It seemed like most of the time they're just using him as a reason to get like the plot going. Like, hey, we need Sam to go and just meet everybody so that they can interact with each other.
I think my favorite bit that condenses the weak acting down is the jet fighter scenes where Sam will shoot someone and he's like, "Yeah, I did it!" Comes inside
He's
the ship,
happy.
and then Jeff Bridges goes,
There was the other one where he's on the light cycle and he's like, "Look, another customer," because that one just is like
That's
ingrained in my memory for some
That's
reason.
Just throughout the whole
good.
thing.
I will say Sam as a character does feel kind of inconsequential. Like, yeah, he's the reason that all this conflict is happening because he took the bait and he got into the grid. But at the same time, it's just like once he gets there,
Because like his identity disc isn't. So
no one
important.
gives a shit. Which again,
He is a user, which is important
Yeah.
to some degree, but not so much for Clue's master plan.
right? So it's just kind of like, yeah, he's here, but who gives a shit?
and when he does get out and he's like, "Alan, I'm taking over the company,"
He's
I
taking
guess
back the
because
company.
now he knows his dad is 100% dead, but I don't know. It feels like they're like, here it is, the payoff to his character arc, and it's like he was pretty much the same guy the whole movie.
I'm gonna
I think-
argue that Kevin
Yeah.
Flynn isn't dead because Jeff Bridges is listed
I'm
in the
gonna
cast of
argue-
Tron 3.
He should have been.
I'm
because
gonna
they talked
argue-
about the merger
Yeah.
is what caused the
It
event
made
that
him
caused them to
stronger.
explode.
He's still God. He just doesn't have a physical form anymore.
Oh.
He's now the Holy
I'm
Spirit.
gonna argue.
Oh,
I'm gonna argue.
Argue
that
then!
Sam Flynn is
God.
taking over the company just so he can use the resources with Cora as an ISO. Because if he didn't take over the company, what's he gonna do? Just be like, "Hey, look at Marv."
He's just gonna
They
fuck
just
his
hang
girlfriend.
I think there's a little
Right.
more to his
It's-
character arc.
Yeah.
If you think about like the idea that Kevin Flynn has this world that he's created perfectly, and he moves to everybody should be able to live their life as they see fit. And now he sees his son come in. He's the agent of chaos, the catalyst for change, and they kind of riff off each other for a bit. You know, he knocks on the sky, listens to the thunder, and then his son is like,
Yeah.
you know what? I should be doing something more with my life. I've seen what my dad tried to do. Obviously, it worked on varying levels of success. He brings back Cora. I think that's what gives him enough of a push to do something with his life.
I like when Joe analyzes things because he just says all the things that I wish I was thinking. And I'm
what
like,
you got?
he's so right. That's what I think now.
I think Cora is gonna see a roast hog in the real world and be like, "Oh my god, that is real."
That's not Israel. That's just a roast hog. Israel's a country, dude.
wait till I show you where Israel is, Cora, and she's like, "Wow."
I bet
You're
that's
telling me
not
that-
what
Cora hits him with
the hospital
the.
get blown up and it's like, "Wow, it's just like the purge."
Hey, this is what happened to my mom and dad.
Yo, when Cora
Also
hits him with, you know,
remember
Jules
guy.
Verne.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
pretty
she hits him
good.
with-
What's he like?
What's he like? And I'm like, oh, that's good.
funny.
That's funny.
Because she doesn't understand what he means.
You're so
So
fucking,
bad.
You're so easy to amuse.
You just wish that you were able to just have fun and watch a movie.
Yeah, I
You're
hate
over
that you
here-
can't
do
watch.
that.
Sometimes, because
Fucking
it is
said
moments like that I look and it's like, okay, like you got it. Like time is passing outside this world.
It's fun.
Let's go.
It's just fun.
And I didn't think this movie
I know you
needed
say
that.
time is passing outside this world in reference to like time in the movie outside of the Tron world, but it also applies to me and my real world. Like time is passing. Let's fucking
Let's keep this up.
The movie has strong
My
points
time
and it
is
has
about-
weak points.
Yeah.
And
And I think
We
they're
could
all
suck.
fun.
but the strong points are so good.
That's the thing, and then it just averages out to pretty good.
I think it's crazy how he has to have Zeus tell him he's Zeus. Like, you didn't figure that out yet, Sam? He's like, alright, when do I get to talk to
I'm
Zeus?
Zeus.
You just did. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking idiot.
just did, darling.
Oh, baby. Gem, though.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
So
Jeff Bridges was fun.
I like
I
Jeff
said,
Bridges.
it's a little weird
No,
to
I
me
like
when
him.
you're like, man, usually he's just saying all these hippie things, but it's fun. It's entertaining. I don't know what we want to fucking
There's
say.
two
Joe.
Jeff Bridges that I like. The hippie one and the R.I.P.D. one where it sounds like he's constantly chewing on food.
R.I.P. to Jeff Bridges.
He don't- Yeah, he's like-
I got
He's like, I think I'm just gonna go and do it. Like, he just sounds like he's got noodles all the time in his mouth. Noodles.
So I thought a lot about how I was gonna score this movie, and
Thank you.
I primarily
did.
compared it, in my mind, to Star Trek
Interesting.
when I was trying to decide on my judgment.
Weird.
Why is it so weird?
Grid,
Because
the
last
digital
movie we
frontier.
watched-
Fuck
These
on
are the
that.
stories of Sam Flynn going to find his dad.
Space, the final frontier. Tron, the digital frontier. Okay, there's two frontiers.
We have Jeff
I was gonna
Bridges,
say
James Tiberius Kirk.
you can compare it to Ender's Game, heavy CGI everywhere with religious undertones.
I don't want to
Or
talk about it.
overtones,
I don't want to talk
depending
about
how you
Ender's
think about it.
I
Game.
feel like Ender's Game was trying to do something You talk about how oddly sexy.
It was trying to do something.
Talk about how sexy.
No, I see. This is why I wanted to avoid Ender's Game, because I knew this topic was going to come back up, and I don't want to talk about it.
No,
Joe, if you never watched our Ender's Game episode, Joe brings up sexy roleplay a lot in Ender's Game.
I brought it up
in reference to
Joe
children.
Had me and Trace do. His bit was, hey guys, we're going to do sexy roleplay. Jobe and Marshall are going to play the characters. And we never were introduced to the bit until just then. But that was the bit. Just him telling us to do sexy roleplay as two of the characters.
This is what
From
I
Ender's
do.
Game?
Yeah.
From Ender's Game.
One being a child.
Slim pickings.
And I think the listeners will agree with me on this one. Is that it's not insane to try to decide how a movie you watch compares to the last movie you watched.
That's not what we're fixated
You didn't say
on.
that at all.
That's not what we're talking about.
What?
No, you could have just said, it
Fucking-
reminds me of Star Trek because I just watched Star Trek, and you didn't say that.
I didn't think I had to spell it out. I thought it was common.
Oh, I should have known
Yeah,
your
if I said
vast
this reminds me of a
history.
movie that we collectively, as a group, just watched.
I didn't think I'd ever find the time where
No,
Joe
because
would
you
yell at
phrased it
Joe.
differently. Because it's not, this reminded me of a movie we watched.
You did-
I was thinking of another
Yes.
movie when we were watching this.
You
Which means you were actively
That doesn't
thinking.
You
devalue
phrased,
my point.
but you phrased it just
It's just you
weird.
phrased it completely wrong.
I wasn't gonna
Okay.
say wrong,
Go
but
on.
Let
but
me
weird.
try again.
Okay.
From the top.
So
Nope.
this movie,
Action.
largely, I think, was just fun, which kind of reminded me of another movie that was just fun.
Yeah, but that sounds stupid.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna dare.
I think while this movie does reach higher highs,
Yes.
I feel like it also has lower lows
No.
than Star Trek, which was just kind of mediocre throughout.
Yeah,
So-
but we had cooler action sequences in Tron, and Jobe, you love motorcycles.
They
Ducatis,
used
too.
light cycles.
Ducati. Yeah, exactly.
So, Joe, just say you're giving it a 5 and
no,
let's
no,
move
no,
on
no,
from you.
more. Give more. Give me like a 6.
I thought about it, but man,
No, I can convince you. I can convince you.
they just
No, I
drain
can
the
convince you
life
though.
out
I
of
can
it.
convince
It's
you.
a 5. It's a
No,
5.
no, wait, jump. Don't finalize it. Don't finalize it. Think about it. What would you do if you had a light disc? You'd be tossing it around like a frisbee, right?
Okay. And
Okay.
What would I do if I had an Enterprise? I'd fly it around space.
You couldn't do that alone though.
I hit the button. I finalized.
You know what? You're a bitch.
As a 5, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's a fun movie, but there's some parts that are kind of snooze fests. I'm gonna give it a 7.755. Final answer.
That was a close one.
I can go next.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
it's a movie I'll always rewatch. I don't think I get bored of rewatching it. I find something new every time I watch it. I'll think more about the conversation we've had today the next time we watch it for sure. But based on the soundtrack and like the action scenes, pumps it up to at least a 6 out of 10 for me. It's a 6 that I'll always watch again.
Yeah, that's really good. That's pretty good.
Hey, wait, one sec. Hey, Freya. No. I'm Daddy's talking. Okay, so
Oh,
here's the thing. It's nostalgic for me. My dad and I loved Tron. We used to talk. We watched the first movie all the time with my uncle, and like it's just like this is fun. It wasn't a good movie, but this one's better. It looks cooler. It's got all this stuff. It's fun. It's just fun. It's entertaining. It's jovial. It's amazing. It's so great. It's got all these fun characters in it, and it's a fun watch. I'll watch it all the time and go, this movie kicks so much ass, and I'm gonna be disappointed when the next Tron movie comes out because it's probably not gonna be as good, and that's why I'm gonna give this a 9.
9.
I love this movie. It's not my favorite, but I think it's so fun to watch.
oh, but when I say a movie's fun to watch, I get fucking crucified.
Yeah, because you just say, guys, it's fun. It's just, it's a good
You
time.
know what? Fuck you, Jobe. What are we watching next week, Jobe?
Yeah,
I think
Jobe.
next week
What
we're
is it?
watching A Real Pain.
What's that about?
about Jesse
Hey.
Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin going to Poland.
Wow.
So no Daft Punk soundtrack. We would like to thank our
What?
special guest, Joe.
You're
Everyone say thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Oh, his 2 hands.
He's got 2 different size hands. Thank you,
Two
Joe.
hands.
Hey, I
and
just
next
wanted to
week,
say,
we're-
I just want to say real quick,
Yeah.
I needed this.
Oh,
needed Thanks.
Tom.
I would like to point out that last time Joe picked
Wait,
a Jesse Eisenberg movie, it was Bavaria.
I didn't want to bring that up until next week.
That's okay, I did it for you.
Wait,
You sick bastard.
say that again.
That's good.
You sick
That's so good.
bastard.
Oh, we should watch that at some point. If we watch that, Joe's got to come in for it.
Yeah, follow us on TikTok, YouTube,
Do
and
it.
Instagram when our social media manager decides to post for once in his fucking life.
Where can they find this?
We've loved having you here, Jabrona Crimes. Have a nice day, everybody. Wave.
Wait, let me do
My
this.
dad and
Goodbye.
call me it's raining.
Goodbye.
All right, we're done.